Hey everybody, it's Missy again. Thanks for joining me today. I'm back with another layout for the Hip Kit Club, and again I'm using the 2016 December kits. And I'm going to start this layout with a cut file that Tara McLean designed. She's also one of our awesome design team members, and it's a series of strips of arrows. And I use 4 different papers here. There's my photo, and I'll talk about what's going on later in the picture. But I've chosen 4 papers here. This is from the Pink Paisley Paige Evans Take Me Away collection. The mint paper is from the Dots and Stripes collection by Echo Park. The pink paper is Maggie Holmes crepe paper. And then the purple is from our cardstock kit. And I went ahead and cut this on my Cameo, and I had to be really careful peeling these off my mat because they're pretty fragile because they're just barely connected, and I accidentally ripped 2 of them off already, so I had to take my time and be patient to peel these off because my mat was really sticky. And I'm going to use all of these arrow strips as a background design element, and I kind of have them how it's going to look, but I wanted to make them straight because of course they were crooked. It's almost impossible to line these up perfectly straight. So I got my ruler out, and I'm going to take some time to kind of make sure these are interlocking the way I want to. So I've got one strip pointing up, one strip pointing down, and they just fit into each other perfectly, and I love how that looks. And I almost made it the whole month without using white cardstock as my background, but I caved, and I'm going to use it today. I just like the way it looks with these really pretty colors on top of it. It's nice and clean and bright, and you can really see all the colors in the paper and the cardstock here, the purple cardstock. So I'm just going to give each of these little arrows a dot 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 of glue, and now that's all glued down, and so now I can start to work around all of that paper. I want to use this as some kind of a background element. This is one of the exclusive papers from the kit this month, the beautiful gray and white stripe. So before I add any mixed media or paint or sprays or anything, I'm going to come in with some white gesso, and I'm just going to do it the way I do it all the time. Just use my fingers and smudge some of it down on the right of the arrows and then on top of the arrows. I just want to create a protective layer and fade out some of that color so it looks a little hazy, and you can kind of see there where the white gesso went. So this is from the color kit this month. It's the Shimmerings in Concrete. It's a really light silver, sparkly silver color. And I'm just going to do a little bit of the packaging here and smudge it down just to give some color and some shading on the background that will come out from behind where the picture is going to go. And I just felt like adding some gray to the mix since there was a little bit of gray in the background that I've already got down there and some gray in the picture. I thought it would be pretty to use some gray on the background. And this is also from the color kit. This is the Heidi Swapp Color Shine in Sweet Mint. I'm going to add a little bit of that. Now, the difference in between the Color Shine and the shimmers, the shimmers I roll between my hands. The shimmers does not have one of those little metal balls in it. So you don't want to shake the shimmers. You want to roll the shimmers in between your hands. Now the Heidi Swapp Color Shine does have a ball in there, and if you've ever had a bottle of that, then you know when you shake it really hard, you can hear and feel the ball shaking everything up. And so even though they're both sprays, you want to be respectful of how you mix them up because you don't want to clog up any of the nozzles. So this is another shimmers. This is from my stash. It's called Pretty in Pink, and it's a colorings. I've had that one for a while. You can tell it's in one of the older style bottles, but it's the perfect pink to match the pink in the paper that I've got going here. And I like how that looks so far. I like how it's got a little bit of gray, a little bit of the mint, a little bit of the pink. And I'm just going to keep playing around with these different sprays. I'm going to add more splatters of the concrete. And then I'm going to sort of decide what can I do with this gray background paper. I kind of wanted to use it as a border around the edges. So what I'm going to do is use my paper trimmer and just slice off maybe about a ½ inch around each side of the cardstock here. And I don't do a border paper a lot, or a pattern paper border a lot around my layouts. Sometimes I do, it just depends. But I'm not going to use this whole entire sheet. I'm going to cut out the center of it so I can use it on something else. And I don't want to make it perfectly straight. Kind of want to, I thought about making it crisscross, not crisscross, crooked or off to the side, something different. So I decided to do it just like that and not have a border on the left side and just have a bigger border over on the right. And it still gives it a little something different, I think. And I like the gray color mixed in. So what I'm going to do now is go around those 3 sides and do some stitching with some dark gray thread. And of course, my thread is about to bunch up and get stuck. Yep, so I had to pull my scissors out, cut it really tight. I almost thought it had ripped my paper. But sometimes my thread does that. I don't know why, but it'll just get caught and it'll get hung. And then on the back of my paper, I have this big wad of thread. And I mean, I can pull it out and straighten it up and it's fine, but I don't know why it does that. Probably because it thinks it's supposed to be sewing on clothes, and I'm using it on paper, but I've always used it on paper, so who knows? Probably user error. Anyway, I'm not a professional sewer by any means, but anyway, so I did some, oh, it's crooked. It looks straight in person, but now I can see it's kind of crooked. Oh well, too late to change it now. On the purple and mint color, I did some stitching there, you can see, in the same gray color. And a lot of that gets covered up, so even though the one on the right's kind of crooked, it's not going to matter. I'm going to do a little more color here over on the left with the pink. And I love how that's looking. I love the color scheme. I think this is a fun color scheme. I just went through all the papers in the kits and tried to pick something different, something that I hadn't used yet. And that hexagon paper was one that I had not used yet. And so I wanted to incorporate that somehow into my paper or into my layout. So this is a little glassine bag that I had sitting on my desk. So instead of grabbing tissue paper, I just grabbed that and used that instead as a little border. And then this was another paper that I had not used yet. It's got the wood grain on the background, and it's got these really cute black and white flowers. This is an exclusive paper again this month, and I'm just going to take some time and fussy cut just a few of them out. I don't do a whole bunch of them. I just want to use these as little layers to kind of tuck in the outside of the photo. And I also thought about coloring the flower, but then I just like the way it looked black and white. And I don't make you watch me cut all of this stuff out, because while I enjoy fussy cutting, I don't think it's fun to watch fussy cutting. So yeah, I spared you that. Now I also wanted to incorporate this gorgeous American Craft glittery tape. So I want to use it as a layer. So I just grabbed a scrap piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to stick some of this tape around the edges of it and then put it behind my picture so where you can see it kind of peeking out. And there are a lot of things you could do with this tape. I want to punch little shapes out of it. I just haven't done it yet. Hopefully that would work. So yeah, I love how that looks. Looks like glitter cardstock. So shimmery. Now I'm going to just work on embellishing. Now some of these are exclusive. Some of these are from the Pink Paisley Paige Evans Take Me Away. That frame that I'm going to use as a layer, that tag, that's that charcoal gray color. And now I'm going to work on these exclusive flowers. And this is when it's fun to fussy cut, because you get embellishments that you wouldn't normally have. And I think they look cute sticking out from those layers. And I love how that's looking. I get that all situated. And then I'm afraid to move it, because I'm afraid if I move it, I will never get it back the way I have it. So I'm going to kind of just take some time here and very carefully add a little bit of glue to all of it so it does not move. And then I am going to come in with some cord in a minute for those tags, to finish those tags off. So now I'm going to come back to the mixed media. I feel like I need a little bit more gray down in the lower left part of where the picture is going to go. And so I'm just going to take some time to do that. and add some more splatters. It never seems like I get my mixed media or my paint done all in the beginning. I come and go with it. It just depends on what gets covered up, you know, and what color needs to go where. I just felt like I needed some mint and some pink and some gray over to the left. And so just making sure that that happens. Now this is a little bit of the Well Blew Me Down. I believe that was last month's color kit, and it's also a shimmers. All right, so I felt like I needed a little more purple. Now you can't really tell because it's a light purple, but I am going to add some purple thread right there to the right, and then I'm going to add some more over to the left. And in person you can see it a little bit better, but it does add some texture and a little bit of color. But the purple's light, so it's not one of the dominant colors in the layout. I wanted to incorporate some of these My Mind's Eye gold acrylic stickers, and so I'm going to do that. I thought about making a little cluster down at the bottom, but I wind up not doing that. And for the first time, I'm about to say for the first time, that's not true. For the first time in a long time, I do not add foam underneath my picture. I do that almost all the time to raise it up, but I felt like there was so much on it and so much around it that it just was fine the way it was, so I just stuck it down. So now my title. I wanted to incorporate the word weekend because in the picture this was in our most recent trip to Las Vegas back in October. We went with my sister and her husband, and we went to a Supercross race. Yeah, exactly. I've never been to a Supercross race. I've never been to a motorcycle race of any sort, but my brother-in-law is into that, and so we decided to get tickets and go while we were out there, and it was so much fun. We had a great time, and I would definitely go again. It was not boring at all. I thought, I'm never going to like this. This is not my jam at all, but it was fun. It was very entertaining, and I had a great time, and so took lots of selfies and pictures of the race, and so this is just a quick, cute picture of me and my husband at the race. And so my title's going to be Best Weekend in Vegas. And now it looks like the S in Vegas is crooked. How come I'm not seeing this stuff today when I'm making this in person? Is it crooked or is it not? Does it really matter? No. I'm not changing it now. But anyway, I decided to add another little flower and cluster of leaves down there, and I like the way that looks. I added some pink thread under it, and then to raise that up I do add some foam under it just to give it a little bit of lift since it's going to overlap the S with that thicker. How did I not notice how crooked that was? Anyway, okay, so I want to use more purple. So what I did now is I took the scrap piece of the purple cardstock and my confetti punch, and I just want to stick some little circles down. They're very tiny, and it did take me a while, so I don't make you watch all of this, but I just kind of wanted the idea of confetti, like little circles kind of coming out to the right of everything. For no reason at all, just because I felt like doing it. And then I like the way that looks. And then I'm going to cut into this little frame from Take Me Away, and it says Take Me Away. And I'm going to put that down there underneath Vegas, because it technically was a vacation, and, you know, Take Me Away sounds good for a vacation page. Now I'm going to use some of the pink paisley sequins, and these are the purple ones. They're obviously darker purple, but I like the way they looked. They just added another little something something to the page. And then finally I'm going to come in with some black spray, and this is from Shimmers from my stash also. It's black and it's called Night Moves. I added the date and I added a little bit of journaling, and that is it. I love how this turned out. Even though I used white and I said I wasn't going to this month, I still like how it turned out. And there's my crooked S, maybe, I guess. Anyway, I love how the layers turned out. I love the color scheme. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun to put together. So please let me know if you have any questions about any of the products, any of the kits, any of the techniques, anything at all. I will be more than happy to answer. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video very soon. I hope you have a great week.